Overthinking, the worst type of thinking, don't you think? Keeps haunting us every step of the way. Over the years, I found 3 ways that helped me overcome that problem. And today, I'm going to share them with you. I will also add a bonus way to make you feel more comfortable in situations where you might not have enough courage. But before we dive in, let's start with understanding what overthinking is. The enemy and stuff. Overthinking refers to repetitive, unproductive thought, which can be focused on the past, present, or future. It often arises from a self-protection mechanism where the brain automatically focuses on real issues like finances, health, work, relationships, and meaning. In other words, imagine your brain as a record player. Each thought that goes through your head is a soundtrack, placed at a different situation. For example, if you find yourself in an awkward situation, your brain might play something along the lines of, "This is awkward. What am I doing here? Should have never left the house." Or that moment when you tell a joke and the room gets quiet, which actually reminds me of a very funny joke. What do you call a belt made of watches? A waste of time. Just kidding, I can tell really good jokes. So you can. Well, I would tell you a construction joke, but I'm still working on it. Just stuff. Unfortunately, as we all know, overthinking can lead to anxiety and stress and make us avoid situations we otherwise wouldn't. Even though we know deep inside that it doesn't make sense, we'll still avoid them. In this cycle of fear that prevents us from finding a solution to the actual problem. But why does it happen? These kinds of thoughts are often automatic and not in our control. The brain does what it learned in the past and it reflects it in the present. Like when you touch something hot, your brain immediately pulls the hand away. Why? Because you probably got burned before and it is an automatic response by now. It knows that if it keeps the hand on the hot stove, your body will get burned. So the brains want you to avoid getting hurt. See, according to neuroscience studies, your brain works on the use it or lose it policy. The more you practice productivity, the more natural it becomes, and the less overthinking you have. You have neurons in your brain, and they communicate at synapses, and that's a path. The more the brain takes that path, the stronger it becomes. The less you take it, the weaker it becomes. So imagine starting a new habit, for example, not using the phone in the toilet. This one is so hard to avoid. I mean, it's so quiet in there and it's boring, so why not? This is the best place to run some chess games, don't you think? Well, the reason that it's hard for me to change it is because the neural pathways are so strong by now that every time I'm about to go to the bathroom, pieces of chess come up. All I can think about is pieces of chess. So it feels more natural to me to go and play there rather than, for example, read a book or maybe just sit in quiet. But all of that is a good sign. As I said before, your brain reacts to situations the way it reacted to them in the past or similar situation. The more you repeat an action in response to some situation, the more habitual it becomes. In that way, overthinking can become our superpower if we use it correctly. Imagine that instead of repeating to yourself in your brain, after a heated argument, how you could have won that argument, and all the things you could have said, and maybe how bad you were. Instead, you think, the argument is over, these are the outcomes, and how can I improve? You might think, it doesn't work. I tried it so many times before, and I always get back to my old habits. Well, it makes sense. Think about it. Your overthinking mind has years of heads up over your positive mind. It has an arsenal of things it can throw at you at any situation you encounter, and your positive mind is just started. It's a beginner. It needs to train, and it takes some time to build up that experience and strengthen the pathways. So right now, your negative pathways might be very strong, and your positive ones are weak. So let's examine 3 ways of how we can tackle this problem and diminish overthinking. Method number 1, the 3 questions. When an unwanted thought comes up to your mind, like, no one will subscribe to my channel, I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm making a fool of myself. Stop and ask yourself, is that true? Well, maybe, but I'm falling to the spotlight effect here. I think that people care about this more than they actually do. Plus, I share some valuable knowledge here, so the viewer is going to subscribe. Question number 2, is it helpful? It discourages me from making more videos, and it also prevents me from reaching more people, even if I make a fool of myself. And question number 3, is it kind? No, this is bad criticism. I learned nothing from it, and it hurts my self-esteem. A better question would be, why do I feel like I'm making such a fool of myself? By asking these 3 questions, you can reframe the way you think about your thoughts and understand whether they're helpful and good, or just residuals from past experience. Hey, you! Yeah, I'm talking to you. Thank you for spending your precious time watching my video. I hope that I'm bringing life-changing valuable information for you. And if not, let me know down in the comment below how can I improve to help you more. But if you do enjoy, do subscribe to the channel and like the video. I publish a video every week, and every month I publish my progress of my journey to 1 million in 1 year. So again, thank you, And let's get back to the video. Method number 2, awkward situations. So as we said before, we need to build up the experience for the positive mind, so our positive thinking will be more habitual and automatic. So the way to do that is to put yourself in these situations. Situations when you know you're going to feel weird or have that cringe feeling in your stomach, so that you can practice feeling uncomfortable and seeing the thoughts that go through your mind, whether bad or good. That way you can fix the bad ones and keep the good one. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spank, said that in order to calm her overthinking and awkwardness when talking to people, she used to get into an elevator full of people and start singing. Yep, she just stood in the middle of an elevator and started singing whatever came to her mind. She said that at first it felt very awkward, but as time went by, she felt more comfortable to the point where she doesn't care right now. She also did a few stand-up comedies. When I tried to overcome my awkwardness and overthinking, I wasn't brave enough to do that. So I started by greeting the people as they left the elevator. So before someone went out, I would tell them, "Have a nice day." And it was really funny at times. Sometimes people responded, sometimes not. Sometimes they just looked back and laughed. And some of them even turned around and pointed at themselves. Me? And some just completely ignored me. It took me some time to get over the cringe and awkwardness on the faces of the people, especially of the people who waited in the elevator after my greetings. Each one of them stood there with fear in his eyes, waiting for his time to be greeted. So if I get into an elevator with you, you can rest assured you will be greeted. To be honest, this one is the hardest of them all, but also the easiest. It's hardest because your overthinking before you do it is so great that most of the time you will just not do that. It's the easiest because you know exactly what you need to do, where you need to do it, and how. And getting yourself into these situations is pretty simple. And method number 3, a safe environment. This method can essentially be an early step to the previous method. This one is for you who prefer to put their toe in the water before they jump in. In a research study conducted by PubMed, over 100 adults diagnosed with social anxiety disorder were gradually exposed to anxiety-provoking situations in a controlled lab. So what the researchers actually did is taking those people and putting them in situations where they know they would feel that anxiety in them. And the results are surprising. It showed that over 54% of the participants no longer met the criteria for SAD. See, by gradually exposing yourself to awkward situations where you feel anxiety, the brain learns to reevaluate these perceived threats and make itself more familiar and comfortable in them, and thus overcoming the overthinking. And you can do the same. You can gather a group of friends or family and come up with awkward situations that would put you in an anxiety state. Gradually work on how to resolve them and figure out ways that will make you feel less anxious and more comfortable. Make sure to notice the overthinking and the thoughts that go through your mind in these situations. And then you can run the 3 questions on them, or you can just find your own way to deal with them. Over time, you should feel way more comfortable in awkward situations and less anxious. Another example is John Wooden, an American basketball coach who led the UCLA team to win 10 championships in his 12-year career, said that he used to put his team under constant pressure so that when they practice they will get used to these situations, and on the field, in a real game, they will know how to respond. Their brain will do it almost automatically. And one more example is me. Remember the elevator story? The safe environment for me was to do it with a friend, someone who I can share my stories with, someone who can feel what I feel and do what I do. So that way we both felt awkward and we could find solution for that together. It made it so much easier, and by now I can do it on my own without a shred of awkwardness. And if you still find it hard to get into these situations, this bonus trick might help you do it. Beyoncé has created a persona for herself called Sasha Fierce. That way she differentiates her own self from her stage self. Sasha Fierce is bold, courageous, and fearless. And that's what Beyoncé wanted to show on stage. So every time before she started the show, she got into her character and went out. So you can use this same method too and tweak it a little bit to fit your needs. For example, if you're about to go to your spinning class, you can wear your special spinning shoes and attach some attributes to them. These shoes have special effect that give the wearer courage and immense strength. Or you can choose whatever you want. Changing overthinking from a super problem to a superpower can be hard. Forget it, it's hard. It takes practice and time to master it, and you will feel like it's not working at times. But believe me, the hard work is worth it. Living a positive life, all completely free of bad thoughts and overthinking, might sound like a far-off and unachievable dream. I know, and let me tell you, it's not unachievable. You can go back to my first videos and see how I talked then, how I presented to the camera. I was shy and my confidence level was low, but it got better over time, and I'm still improving. For example, I still don't feel very comfortable talking next to my partner, so I make her put the headphones on. But gradually I will feel more comfortable and I will do it. So if it bothers you, do something about it. Take the first step and don't wait for tomorrow. Change overthinking from a super problem to a superpower. Thank you very much for watching the video. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.